Hey everyone, welcome back to the final episode of November, because at least that's a fact. Because I always get the number incorrect. Today we got a special guest all the way from the other side of the pond. We got Mr. Fede Barronti. Did I say that
The-
correctly?
yes,
I
perfectly,
can roll my
perfectly.
R. Barronti.
Yeah, well, just one R, but it's okay. It's well pronounced and it's nice. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming. So we're just gonna, say hello to a couple people here in the chat, and then we're gonna jump into it, folks. We got a very action-packed episode today, as always. But we're gonna be talking with Feather about a lot of different cool things today happening in the world of Atlassian, especially a really, really big announcement. Hopefully, in the thumbnail of the video, you saw how big the announcement is. But I really loved your post that you did the other day on LinkedIn, so I think the timing is perfect. So welcome, Andy. Thank you for coming back after being away for 4 weeks, being in the penalty box. Hopefully, you're going to enjoy this one, Mr. King Bob. Always a pleasure to have you. I'm not looking forward to working with you. We'll get into details
I'm
about more.
sorry. I'm just going to say sorry right now, Andy. There will be spoilers.
There will be, yeah. So Andy, this is when you may want to come back and watch the recording on, because there will be fighting words in this episode. And with that said, Fede, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? We'll start off with you, and then we'll go into our fighting words about the quiz whiz, because we have some opinions there. But why don't you tell us a little bit of who you are, who you work for, what do you do,
Okay,
and the floor is yours.
cool. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Well, I'm Fede Baronti, and I've been working in the Atlassian ecosystem for almost 6 years. And I started working as a support specialist for Dacer. You may know us for some apps in the Atlassian marketplace. We can talk about them a little bit later. But I started doing the support. I was a support specialist. I was helping our dev team. Support. And fix different kind of bugs with our apps. And answering questions from our clients. And it's been a really long and crazy ride. In the Atlassian ecosystem is really cool. It's really engaging, and I love learning every week. I learn something about it. And it's pretty cool. And then I think that it was 9 months ago they made me the partner manager. And for our products. And also, well, and I do other stuff. I do videos. I'm an Atlassian creator too, so I do videos. I write a few posts about Atlassian tools. And also our tools and different other tools that can help and provide solutions to clients. To Atlassian users. So it's been a crazy ride. And right now I'm here. With you guys. I've met you a few weeks ago, Alex, in another podcast in Spanish. By the way, you
Oh,
have really cool Spanish.
I don't
I
know about that. No, no castellano for me.
Yeah, well, but it's good. It was really nice. It was really nice to meet you there. Along with the Spanish-speaking Atlassian creators and Rodney. Well, I know Rodney already for a long time. But it was one of the first times that we met, I believe, in Poland a month ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
It
Oh, that
was
would explain
great.
the whole. It's been a whole month since I've seen you. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
exactly, and it was really cool. Did you like the Jira Day, Rodney, in Poland?
Oh, I loved it. It was amazing seeing everyone there. Talking to people who I ordinarily would never get to meet,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just seeing what the concerns are over in that area of the world as far as Jira goes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It was really cool to see you. I was one of the persons, of the attendees that I was looking forward to meet. It was you because I've been following you, and I don't know if and I remember that it was back in the day, maybe 3-4 years ago. They said made this webinar. I remember it was Flora. Remember Flora? She used to work with us, and you participated there. and I'm brought a lot of insights about Atlassian too. And I was like, this dude knows a lot, so I'm gonna start following him.
When somebody takes the title of the Jira guy, you need to know a
Yeah,
lot.
exactly. That's it. So
So we're gonna have to pause this amazing train here that we got, because we got some fighting words here. So here in the Jira life, we have so Fede, for all the people that are in the chat here, we
Yeah.
call them our Jira amigos. So it's a community that we've
Nice.
been building out here for half a year now, a little
Yeah,
over half
yeah.
a year. And so we got some fighting words here. Mr. Ed Gale here telling the community that he's gonna get a shirt, and everybody's looking at Ronnie's Jira Ventures shirt there, and he's gonna put some crosshairs over the logo. They definitely take them down. It's gonna be an interesting competition when we get there.
Well, I mean, the key is he's going to have to wait a full round before he even gets a chance to touch us.
If he gets a chance.
Nice.
So anyway, so Fede, I want to lean a little bit more into a couple of things that you said, right? So first of all, Laura, you said Laura or
Flora.
because
Yeah,
I
Flora.
love Laura. Laura's the only person. Laura and your CEOs are the two people that I know.
Mhm.
Dizer, and so personally, like, I hung out way more, like a lot of time at the Dizer booth at Team 23 than any of the other booths.
Yeah.
So I love you guys. It was awesome to speak Spanish with so many of you guys there, and very welcoming, right? Because I'm very self-conscious of my Spanish, and your group was just very awesome with my Spanish. So
I'm really glad we try to well, we're really happy that people come, and talk to us, and I'm really sad because I didn't get you there. I probably was around, doing my stuff, around Team 23, but I missed you there. But it's
next
okay.
year we're gonna be there. I'm gonna make sure I spend even more time on the expo floor.
Perfect. We'll be right there waiting for you.
So that was that comment. Then the next comment I want to talk about, right, is, so I'm seeing in the chat here that you got a podcast. So did you talk about that, or do we want to go deeper into that?
Yeah, well,
how did you land the fun man Andy? I just saw that he was on there too.
yeah, well, that's really cool. Well, the thing is that in they said we were trying to create something about sharing. We wanted to share our knowledge. Not only about our products. But also, as I said before, Atlassian and other apps. And maybe even more into the marketplace. And we decided to create this series of videos. We call them podcasts because sometimes we ask Atlassian community leaders or Atlassian creators into jump into our episodes, and since Fama Andy was around Madrid this week, I asked him to come and join me for yesterday. Well, it was today's episode, but I asked him to join us. It was yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, well, and it's always a blast, because that man, he is fun, and he's also a huge bucket of knowledge. It's awesome. It's really good. And yeah.
No, we officially haven't had him on the show, right? Like he kind of crashed the show. But that was like
Yeah.
that was all an accident. That was like, hey, put me in, coach, type of thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like obviously when you're up, it's much later there than it is here. He's like, look, I'm about to crash, but I want to be on the show. Just put me in. I'll jump in for 5 minutes. We'll have fun, and then I'll go to bed.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And he's one of my favorite people. I'm hoping he's supposed to come to California next year. So, and if you're watching, I haven't forgotten. You better come to California.
Nice. That's nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing that episode.
Yeah. No, we're hoping we get it at some point. So, anyways, let's talk a little bit about your role here at Dizer, right? So, you guys just came up with an app, a brand new one. What was the thought process behind this one? How is this different than the other offers that you have in the marketplace?
Well, the thing is that Gomood was born because we thought, we in the last year, Dacer decided to create a sub team in the dev team, that it's all focused on discovery, creating new apps, thinking about new apps, talking to our clients, future clients that we already have, or clients that were from our other apps, that we somehow lost, but we wanted to ask them what were their needs, and the whole team, the discovery team, which is is built because we had this need, and the clients had this need, thought about Gomood as some kind of solution for the Jira Service Management. It's like for the agents that are using Jira Service Management. The agents sometimes, when you have a service management queue, and you have a lot of requests, a lot of support tickets, sometimes you might think, you might not know what the customer is thinking about. Maybe you might think that the customer is really happy with the product, but in fact, he might not be that happy because he's having a problem with the product, and he's writing a ticket to you, a support request. So the agent doesn't really know what's happening, and he doesn't know how to answer that request. We try to find the solution, but sometimes you need to be more assertive. Sometimes you need to be a little more relaxed when answering a ticket. I've been working on the
or
app.
just let the robot do it at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see that. Well, I'm used to seeing how the clients, answer, and how they write the summaries, and the comments, in order to see if they're angry or if they have this kind of urgent request, and so on. And Gomood was born because of that, because of this need. And thanks to the AI, thanks to OpenAI, we managed to build this app that reads the summary and the comments, and tries to figure out what is the mood of the client, and what sentiment are they expressing, and we would act upon that, maybe when the client is a little bit more angry, or the AI believes that it's a little bit more angry, we find it more critical, in order to answer,
Yeah.
better than you said. Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
So let's talk a little bit about. So I want to go deeper into that, right? So
Yeah.
a couple things that come to mind. One is tone, right? Like, oh wow, this does it here too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
Oh, he's got a full blown explosion.
Yeah, Apple's got this new thing. If you do a thumbs up, it does like the little. There you go. If I
There
do
you
two
go.
thumbs up, it does the little explosion thing that I just did.
Fireworks. There you
I
go.
can do. I think hello. I gotta wait for him to stop. Wow. So we're turning this into a upgrade to the latest Mac OS.
Nice.
So you can do this. I think this is for sure one. Come on.
Maybe.
No, this one maybe. One of
Oh,
these. This one. There you go.
there you go. Nice.
Oh, I
That's
have this.
Oh, that too. That's pretty cool.
I could have sworn that hello was one too. I don't know, but now you can do this, and like there's a bunch of different things that the newest version of Mac OS can do. But let's not turn this into an Apple episode, because that's a whole podcast that I can do on my own there. But going back to the topic here, tone. I think one of the hardest things that I struggle with as a JSM user, right, as somebody that works requests, is you lose a lot in the written word, right? Like it is hard to understand. The misplacing of a comma in English, at least in English, is hard, right? Especially when I'm working with like offshore teams that don't speak English as their native language. So how does Gomood kind of navigate through that minefield of like English is hard, and like sometimes you can't, like you can misunderstand the intention of the sentence.
Exactly, you can misunderstand. And Gomood, the thing is that Gomood is built in order to work along with ChatGPT, with OpenAI. So what it does is we ask the OpenAI to read the comments, and then we have a full set of different moods, and different moods. You don't have to, do not get Alex started on the Apple Pro.
I have a lot of them.
That's okay. That's okay. That's very good. That's very good. It made me laugh too. That's okay. That's good. Okay, so go moving on with the Gomood thing is that we have classifications, and the AI will classify those sentiments. We have 5 different kinds of sentiments, like very positive sentiments that the AI reads out from the comments, from the summary, and then different emotions. The emotions, that's a really big field, because there's so many emotions, that the user can be feeling right now. We don't know if they are the correct emotions, but the AI would kind of suggest what the agent the agent no sorry the client might be feeling. Maybe they're grateful, because we fixed the bug really, or a bug really fast, or I don't know, they're really hopeful, that I will be looking forward to knowing about the result of your tests. That sentence sounds really hopeful, right? So chat GPT, will, and OpenAI, yeah, will try to advise us on that, advise us on that emotion that the client is feeling. We believe that it's really good in order to amplify the voice of the client,
But
and
this is happening live, though, right? You're not waiting until.
Yeah, but no, the thing is that you need to activate, since it's Forge needs to Forge needs to communicate with ChatGPT. It has
No,
to.
but I mean, like,
but
you don't
yes,
have to wait until you close. So Jira has CSAT built in, right? That
yes,
customer satisfaction. But
yes.
that only happens when you close the ticket, and
It
then
happens live. Yes,
right, and
as
then
you.
the
And the
user
thing
needs
about
to
that,
see the feedback.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
thing about that is the only people who really submit a survey are the people who are very, very happy or
Or
very,
very
very upset. You don't get that middle ground at all.
At all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
what I really like, though, right, is like you can realize that, oh crap, I was too harsh on this comment, and then you can see it and pivot. Because I've realized I'm like, I might have not, I shouldn't have said that, or but unless you might not have that self realization, right? This is really
Yeah.
good to kind of bring to light like what's happening. But first, before we even go any further, I just want to make sure, for a legal perspective, this is not sponsored by Dizer. we just want
Exactly.
to make sure, but Dizer, if you're listening and you do want to sponsor the Jira Guy and Ape Tech tutorials, we do have
Yeah.
sponsorship opportunities. But
Go,
this
go,
one
go.
not sponsored, so we are just having a heart-to-heart conversation here
Yeah,
with our
exactly. Well, it's really good. Thank you very much, guys, for this. As I told you, we don't need to talk about this, but since you brought it up, it's really nice, because we're really happy. Also, we're missing a really good news. Is that Gomood won the first prize for for Code Guys, for one category of the Code Guys.
Well, we should have started with that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the category for insights, data driven insights. So will some of our representatives, Leo and Alvaro, will be in Amsterdam in Atlassian Unleash, representing Dicer and Gomood, in order to win the biggest prize, and we're really thrilled about it, and since Gomood is having a really big positive reaction, we're really happy about that. We're already winners, as we say, and stuff like that. So
It's interesting to see these, right? Like on reward, or on, dang it, I should not mess these up because they're my sponsors from a while ago, right? But that on rewards app that I reviewed a while ago,
mhm.
it's this category, right? Like Atlassian pushes and promotes this whole team concept a lot, but Jira itself doesn't help you be a better team, right? It helps you like track your stuff, but I think things like this, right? It helps you be a better human, a better team member. And,
Yeah.
and I like these things, and I like stuff that Onward is doing with like recognition and stuff like that with your peer-to-peers. I think we need more of those kind of apps in the marketplace.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. And also Gomood, as you mentioned, it's not focused only on the client, but it will help in the future. One of our things that we're thinking about of including in the future is like trying to know how the agent is doing. From maybe their comments. The agent can say also, because sometimes the agent is, I don't know, is like, yeah, everything's cool, but maybe Gomood is like, okay, I don't know, maybe you're not, and stuff like that, maybe you're
Yeah.
not. So I don't know, maybe suggesting stuff. Is suggesting moods and sentiments. So we're really happy about that. And about that, we have a lot of things for
Yeah,
that.
I really, really like that. I'd like to see you guys bring this to Jira software, right? Because as engineers, right, I think that technical people usually think with a different part of the brain, right? Because when you're looking at like marketing teams, legal teams, every other team that tries to use your business people, right? They don't think the same way. Like engineers, I like to think of engineers like a Sheldon, right? Like very,
Yeah.
very they don't understand like sarcasm the same way. They don't understand a lot of the social cues the same way. So we technical people usually come off as like mean people, just because
Mean
of
or
the
cold or I
right.
mean, I've heard all these terms applied to me before, so
But it's not like we're bad people, right? So it's like I think stuff like this is a very like subtle, uh, passive aggressive way of like nudging people to like, hey, maybe let's not say that.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Maybe
that's
it'd be
that's the
great
point.
if it can, as you're typing it, you can guide you and some.
Yeah,
You're, I've seen that in like Fiverr when you're typing something in, it'll say this sounds too aggressive. You might want to change it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I used to use Grammarly. Right now, I'm not using that much, but Grammarly that's the same thing.
yeah.
It's like the Grammarly suggests what kind of tone you're using, and stuff like that, and maybe change it. So
Yeah.
it's nice.
You
It
know
would be
what would
really
be
good.
nice too, though, is if it read the request, because sometimes my knee-jerk reaction to a request is like, first of all, you were rude. So like
Yeah,
now I'm gonna regurgitate the favor of being rude back. But like if it could like, soften up the blow and
yeah,
the
exactly,
request comes
exactly,
in,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
then my day honestly as a Jira admin, it gets ruined when I get like, this arrogant or just
yeah.
not friendly request that's just like, hey, first of all, like good morning. And
Ye-
then like that so I think that'd be cool to see something like that maybe down the road.
Exactly. We're gonna take that into account. I'm gonna talk to Laura tomorrow. And talk about it. Yeah, exactly.
Tell
Because
Laura to
that,
help me make my days better in the morning because man, I'm
yeah,
telling you, between the team, like the Slack messages and everything that comes in overnight, and like first thing in the morning, I'm waking up still taking out the cobwebs. I'm like, Jira sucks. I'm like, where did this come from? Like, why am I getting this request?
exactly. Believe me that I got really really crazy requests, for our apps, for the support, and it can ruin your day. Yes, sometimes it's like, and then when you talk about it, maybe in a meeting, in a daily, they're like, oh, it cannot be that bad, and I'm like, read it, and they say like, well, it can go either way, maybe and I'm like, no, man, no.
Then you
No.
guys gotta roll this out to email. You gotta roll it out to pretty much Slack, Teams,
Yeah,
everywhere where
exactly.
people are messaging. Like because
That
again,
would be
we
awesome.
need
That
a
would
little
be
bit of help here in our interpersonal skills sometimes.
yes.
So,
Well,
anyways, so that's great, right? So I think we can maybe pivot a little bit. Ronnie,
yeah.
you got anything good that you want to bring up here? Because then you
Well, I
complain
mean,
that
we've been talking about Gomood. That's
you
the
hog that you complain I hog the whole show.
no, but as I said, we've been talking about Gomood, but let's just be clear, that is just one
Yeah.
of several apps from Deezer that you really need to check out. Obviously, their big one, the one they've had around for a while, is Project Track.
Yeah.
But again, I'm using this for a project that I'm working on for the Jira guy, Budgety.
Oh.
Just being able to apply a budget and see how the money flows within a Jira project natively is big, and that is something that is really missing from Jira itself. So I'm obviously going to talk about that all day long, sponsored or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Laura had called me up maybe 2 months before April, so like in February. You guys were working on like a hackathon type of budget.
Yeah. Exactly. Because our latest apps, Gomood and Budgety, they all come from. No, sorry, our three latest apps. Because you will find QSpot also in the marketplace. QSpot is a free app, and it's also aimed at ITSM, and trying to, how do you say, relieve the client, the customer, from the stress of not knowing when the ticket is going to be answered. I don't know if if I explain myself well right now, but it's like that, because the QSpot will let the customer know when the team might be answering the ticket and what part of the queue they're in right now. So it relieves the client out of that stress, of that uncertainty, of that how you say anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen. QSpot is right there too, because QSpot comes from the latest hackathon, the latest Code Guys. The Code Guys 2022. The latest Code Guys was this year's Code Guys. And we created Gomood with that. We like to, I don't know, we like to present our ideas, when we think about it. And also Laura, Alvaro, and Leo, they are together in this sub team that we call Discovery, and they work really hard into finding these ideas and what can bring, the clients a little bit more, I don't know, easiness, and hope and solutions, and stuff like that. So
we're talking about happiness.
yes,
Let's there's a little war going on here in the chat, and so we got to ask. I think we need to turn this into a ritual, Rodney, especially as we have more guests, right? Have you ever had In-N-Out?
Me?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay, so what's the competition, Rodney? In-N-Out versus what? Five Guys? What was it?
I mean, we just talked about In-N-Out itself.
What are your thoughts about In-N-Out?
Fede, honest opinion about In-N-Out. Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I really like it. I'm close to loving it. I'm not loving it yet because I haven't had enough of it, But yeah, but I do like it a lot, because I don't live in the US. I used to live in Canada, but on the side that there's no In-N-Out, so there were Five Guys, A&W's. A&W is a really good burger place, that's a really fast food place.
I'll agree with that one.
I've never had that.
Yeah, that's really good. The root beer over there.
You gotta travel more.
Yeah.
I do. I went to Atlanta. Just ran right across the terminal.
The airport don't count.
I know. What about barbecue here? Because we have our very own Ed Gale who does Ed Gale's barbecue, right? And so apparently he doesn't like my Mexican barbecues.
Oh, that's a big name drop for me. That's a huge thing, because I'm originally from Argentina. Argentina. In Argentina, we're really barbecue fans. We're really big barbecue fans. And here in Spain, it's not by accident that I moved into a place with a huge terrace. In which I could put a barbecue. I can set up a whole barbecue thing, so every now and then we have barbecues around here.
Yeah, no, apparently our barbecue, I was telling the guys that, at least from California, right, it's more like burgers and hot dogs, but apparently I don't.
That don't count. That is not barbecue.
Look at Mr. Ed Gale. We're just going to turn this one into a Spanish episode, Ed. Muy bien, más carne.
Yeah, más carne, yes.
Do you have your show?
Yeah, I talk with the show. Yo soy Fede. Yo soy argentino. Yeah, and like Ed Gale says there, asado. Yeah, we don't call it barbecue, we call it asado. It's just, there you go. That's it.
Oh man, I have so much to see. I am one of my New Year's resolutions is going to be to get a passport so that I can travel a little bit more. But I am going to try to be more active in the US and go to more ACE events here.
That's nice. That's really cool.
So we're actually we're in the beginning phases. We're planning out a West Coast trip. So we got our Mark Cruz from Atlassian. We are planning we're going to do a San Diego, Orange County, LA. And then a little bit later, we're going to do San Jose, San Francisco, and Seattle. So first quarter of the year, we're going to try to just do the whole West Coast with ACE events. So instead of Ed, because Ed this year, he went and did like a whole barbecue tour across like the central eastern US. But we're going to do tacos and Jira. Or Atlassian.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, we're bringing the tacos to you. So there's my favorite taqueria is across the street from San Jose State University. And so rest assured, we're going to be bringing their taco sauce, and we're going to be bringing tacos from there. Because every time I go to San Jose, I have to go to that taqueria right there.
Nice.
And if you haven't, by the way, Matt, if you haven't been to a taqueria across, like directly, I can't remember the name right now. Lena in the chat here, help me out. But it's directly across the street from the gate of San Jose State University. It's it's like in a house next to a Jack in the Box. Go check it out, Matt. You will thank me later. I think it's across the street from like the Pizza My Heart, if it's still there. The Pizza My Heart.
Nice,
But, yeah.
nice.
La Victoria, yep. Oh,
and-
yeah, there we go. La Victoria, you got it. It's the best taco place in San Jose, in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, and if you get barbecue, from around these days, try the chimichurri, like Ed and Robert are saying. Chimichurri is an Argentinian sauce, but with herbs, and it's an oily, herby and garlicky sauce. It's really good with meat.
Man, if I could, if it didn't cost 6 arms and 5 legs to live in Silicon Valley, I would move to San Jose in a heartbeat. But I would be like a homeless in Silicon Valley, so I can only go visit. But I definitely got to go visit more often. I love San Jose. It's one of my favorite cities. So, anyways, let's keep going then. So now we're hungry. So this is what we're all about. When we have Brittany here, we're talking about Buc-ee's. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Me? No, I haven't been to a
Are you
Buc-ee's.
familiar with what that is?
Yes, big, how you say, big gas stations with a lot of food, and a lot of groceries,
yes.
and stuff. Yes.
Yeah. So apparently Matt sold a couple kids to afford it. Dude, life in Silicon Valley is no joke, man. It is expensive, but I love that city. I would do anything to move to Silicon Valley.
That's pretty.
Ed says it's only a matter of time until we spin the TJL into a food conversation. Yeah, we're just gonna do it like a Jira World Tour of foodies or Jira for foodies or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
We have to figure out maybe that's something we do for Team 24, Bob, as we're walking around. Maybe we interview people on their favorite food from the floor of Atlassian or something. We'll have to figure something out. We're trying to plan we're trying to plan something big for Team 24.
Nice.
Yeah. We've got plans. We've got plans.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing those in real life.
Jira Life, rest assured, the Jira Life will be coming to the Dizer booth to talk to you all there.
Nice. We'll be right there waiting for you. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this morning we had some interesting developments. This morning, our very own Sajid Nair. No, he says it's Nair. Rhymes with fire. Nair. I can never say it correctly. He hosts a quiz whiz show that I can never pronounce correctly either. I always do either whiz quiz or quiz whiz. I always get it the wrong way. Whatever the right way it is. And Bob here and Rodney, who's sitting here before us, they participated this morning. So Rodney, how did that go?
I think you know exactly how that went, Alex.
But for the people
what did you say afterwards? Can I quit now?
I just gave my surrender flag right away. Where is that?
Yes, we played. And again, usually it comes down to speed round. We were 8 points separated during the speed round. Me and Bob went second for speed round, and we ended up scoring 22 points, which is the most anyone has ever scored during the speed round.
I'm having way too much fun with the sadness of
yeah, cry me a river. But seriously, Quiz Whiz is always fun to be in. It's amazing how smart you are until you are on the camera in the middle of the quiz.
Doing it, yeah. I am already getting anxiety over it, and I haven't even started. I don't even know when the next round is. I'm already freaking out.
So is this a weekly quiz?
No, so it depends on availability, right? They have a whole bunch. Okay. And they had a whole bunch of teams this year. I don't know, what was it, like 16 teams or something like that?
Yeah, 16, 18, something like that.
An elimination. So the teams go head to head. And this year it's new. So what they did for this year, they did it in pairs because, Atlassian, the whole theme of this year was better together or possible alone, or possible together, whatever Man, I hope Atlassian doesn't watch all this thing. I should like, folks, if you didn't know this, I am like Dory. I got like a 2-second attention span. I will forget. Copy paste is my dear friend because I can't look at something on one screen and like remember it. Like I have the worst memory. But anyways, this year they did it where you're in pairs, right? So you're in a team, and so they started, putting team versus team, but every round is an elimination round.
Oh.
And so mine, I did it like a week and a half ago, something like that, 2 weeks ago. And we were like 30, 40 minutes into a 1-hour show, and there was like 10 points on the board. It was so hard. We're all very dumb.
It sounds like it's really hard. I'm seeing really well-known faces. I just subscribed to it. Yeah,
it's everybody from the community, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
Chris Cook is the one that invited me to it.
Oh, that's
never
cool.
again.
Now, the thing that really hurt is after we finished, we were doing our post-game banter with us, the other team, as Jeet, and he's like, "Look, you guys went against one of the hardest teams, and you held your own. You scored more points, though, than some people are actually going to the next round." It's like, that does not make me feel better.
We had like 10 points going into it, so Sajid is evil, though. I definitely I will get my revenge one day with Sajid here. The emotions that he makes me go through. My wife is like, this is at 6:00 in the morning Pacific time, and I'm like banging my hands on the table because he gives me soccer questions. We don't play soccer in the U.S. That's all he gives me. All I get are soccer questions.
Yeah, I think I remember you
because I think your question. Your question was one that had Real Madrid, wasn't it?
Oh,
there's a lot of questions about things that I don't touch in my life.
That's pretty cool. I think I remember watching the Jira live, and you were talking about like Said makes a lot of soccer questions, and you were a little bit mad at him in one of the latest ones.
It's all fun. I'm not actually mad at him, but
I know, but it's nice, I would like to participate, Maybe I can answer only
take my spot.
Yeah, maybe I can only answer the soccer ones, because I'm really afraid.
That's what we should be able to do. We should do this like what was that? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I should be able to call a friend.
Yeah, exactly. You call me.
Help me out with this one.
Yeah, exactly. Call me. I love football. We call it football, Yeah.
I know. We call it soccer because we have a real football that you don't compete at all.
Real football. Yeah.
Alex, I don't know how to tell you this, and I'm sorry to shatter your worldview, but our football is the fake one.
I know. I'm very well aware. Being Hispanic, I'm doing a disservice to the Hispanic people. But my dad has always joked around with me. He's like, why would they call it a sport where 1% of the time you actually use your foot?
Exactly. So you use your foot like 3 times in a match, right? It's like only for the kicks.
You know what? Between you helping me answer the soccer questions and I got Matt over here helping me with the Jira questions, I'm just gonna have like sit-ins for me. I'm just gonna swap them out and call a friend for each one. I'm gonna tell CP lets me get away with that.
Go ahead, man.
Although if it wasn't for my partner in detail, like we would not be this far. But anyways, it's a fun game. You should definitely try it. We're trying to, or my understanding is they're evolving it for next year to try to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more interesting. I cry every time I participate, so not recommended.
Well, I think a lot of that, Alex, though, is you hyping yourself up.
What are you talking about? This is how did you guys even know the whole Willis thing? Oh no, you guys didn't know Willis. I
did not know that one.
I did not know. Yeah, I did not know any of them this time around, so I would have done real bad. So Fed, what they do then at the end, I don't know if you've seen the very end of it, right? So the first half, they have like 10 questions that are worth like 10 points, and then they drop in points based on how much help you need. But the last half, right? Because you can do badly or you could do well on these questions, but the last 5 minutes of the show, they hit you with like 10 questions or 15 questions real fast.
14 questions total.
Oh,
yeah, 14, and they're fast. But you got 2 minutes to answer as many as you can, and they're 2 points, but they're easy. I would say they're easier, but they're more like trivia, right? You don't have to, because the first 10 questions you have to read into the picture, you have to analyze, you have to really think in a fourth dimension to answer it, versus the speed round is like, how many elements are on the table of elements, right? Like, what's the farthest planet from the star or from the moon or whatever. So you're getting like more trivial type of things that are just facts. And so you could, if you play your cards right, which is how we won, recover from losing in the first round, in the first half of the game. So I like that element.
That's pretty cool. You know, speed runs are always fun. You know, I will always mess it up. You know, in the speed runs. You know, because you know the first thing that that pops into my head. You know, I say it. You know, and sometimes it's not. You know, and sometimes it is. You know, but they're fun. You know, I have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
Bob
I
said
think
that
our big strategy and the thing that really helped us out is we did not spend any time debating any question. We either knew it or we didn't. If we didn't know it, we'd say Bob. Bob would then pass if he didn't know it too, and we just move on.
That's a good strategy. Yeah.
I'm just here for the bantering and the fun, so I just try to make a fool out of myself to give you the entertainment factor. So,
that's very good too.
But anyway, so that's the Quiz Whiz. If you haven't checked them out, Rodney and Robert here were in it this morning. Check out mine. And we forgot to definitely mention it, but go subscribe to Fed's channel there that we had up in the link earlier. So make sure you go subscribe to them. I saw you have a little 400 subscribers. So
thank you very much. Yeah, well, it's not only for me. It's Dicer. Okay, it's Dicer. Yeah,
I just try to avoid saying the word Dicer because I can never say it correctly, and then you call me a Yankee.
Yeah, it's right.
I'm sorry, Alex, but you are.
I'm supposed to be Hispanic. I'm supposed to not be doing a disservice to the people that I represent.
No, don't worry at all. Don't worry about it because the thing is that we name it Dacer. You know, in Spanish, it's a Spanish company, and we name it Dacer. We used to say Dacer. You know, like in Spanish. Yeah, exactly. And when we hear you guys saying Dicer, you know, or they name it, you know, all the way around in different types of language, you know, they name it differently. So it's fun. It's fun to hear. Huh?
So it's like Kalor. So I don't know if you've seen Kalor, the
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was like, hey, how do I say? Because it's not Kalor, and then it's like calor. It's almost like calor.
Calor, yeah, calor. You know, and I say Kailor. You know, I was talking to Imge. You know, and how's Kailor doing? You know, and she was like, what? You know, what is that? You know, and it's like, yeah, okay, Kailor. Ah, there you go. That's it. You know,
Kailor. So I was like, we're right. I'm like, it's in between hot and caves, but it's like Taylor.
Exactly.
So one thing that I do want to maybe go back now. Let's reel it back into the last one. Well, what are your thoughts here? Like, one of the observations that I make here is that so many of the app place makers or marketplace app makers are European based, right? Like, why do you think that is? Like, is there like a strong, like, how do you feel? What's the vibe look like for the marketplace development in Europe?
Well, what I've seen, you know, in the past 6 years, I'm seeing that there's a lot of solution partners that decided that maybe created custom applications for different kind of clients, and they decided to market on those apps, you know. So maybe, you know, like saying, okay, so this might help more clients, you know, than just one. So let's put it in the marketplace. That's what I'm seeing a lot. But I'm also seeing that you know, that people, you know, really technological minds are realizing that the Alaska marketplace is a really big ocean, you know, that in which there's a lot of clients that need different types of solutions, you know, and they might have really good ideas. And
there's 6,000 of them apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I don't know, it's some kind of a business for them, you know, and it's like, dude, you know, I have a lot of ideas. Let's make them real. You know, they don't need to come through another solution partner in order to start being a marketplace partner or a marketplace vendor. You know, but I'm seeing both, and the one that I'm seeing the most is the one that comes from the solution partner at the moment. Okay. Because I believe that, you know, the marketplace was opened. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 9 years ago, is that correct or something like that? Yeah,
right around there. Yeah,
yeah, right. So it's 9 years. You know, well, it's in 10 years. Well, the span of 10 years, it had grown, but there's a lot of people here in Europe, that have this kind of need into getting into the technological business because they have ideas and they want to help the clients. They want to make the solutions for the clients that are maybe struggling with I don't know, with a queue or something like that, in order to show it better for them.
But it's one of my favorite things about Atlassian, though, something that I didn't realize until I went to Teams this year, right? Because when you think about software, especially being in California, and Matt will probably appreciate it, right? You think Silicon Valley, right? Like that's where Google's at, that's where Facebook's at, that's where all the software companies are at. So it was really eye-opening for me when I went to Team, and I'm like, whoa, almost everybody's like non-US. Like there's a lot of European folks here representing the Atlassian community. So we definitely, Mr. Rodney, got to move this thing to be more European and Asia Pacific friendly. One day, welcome as
one day, yeah.
One day. Yeah, you're welcome to come here, to Madrid, whenever you want. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I gotta get a passport first. I can't. I live 30 minutes from Mexico. I can't go. I can't come back in.
Well, that's a really good step. Having a passport is a really good step. Yeah. I
had a clearance with the United States government, and so traveling abroad is a pain in the butt. So I was like, I don't need one because I'm just gonna pay for it to expire. You can't. I mean, you can use it, but you got to let everybody know all your business, and nobody got to know my business here. We got a question. How have marketplace partners dealt with the challenges that come from Atlassian, jumping from Connect to Forge?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm really not the one that should answer that, because you should ask Alvaro, who's
let's bring Alvaro next time.
Next time we'll bring Alvaro because the thing is that he is the one that faced this kind of situation. Jumping from Connect to Forge, he had to learn a lot. Because Atlassian also is suggesting to use Forge in the cloud, so he had to face that situation of learning. He loves learning, everyone loves to learn something new. I love learning something new, but being Forge, which is, it's not that complicated, as Alvaro says, maybe it's because he's so smart that he understands it. I wish I had his mind, and understand, how Forge works right away, but it was a little bit of a pain in the ass.
So I don't know how to word this correctly without getting everybody guessing, right? But I learned how to code in English, and obviously I would assume you guys all communicate in Spanish.
Yes.
When you're doing your requirements, your designs, and everything, right? So do you ever feel like there's like something lost in the translation between when you document it and discuss it and architect it in Spanish, but then you code it in English?
No, there might be. At least there used to be, because the thing is that since our team is the product side, and the marketplace is global, we need to know English, and we push ourselves into talking, speaking in English, in our daily meetings, writing them down in English. The bugs are all written down in English. Whenever a client enters a request, and we find out that there's a bug, the bug is written in English. The requirements, everything. We try to write down everything in English in order for us to not feel, for anyone to feel weird when we need to communicate with Atlassian or with a client that doesn't speak our language, and because English is the global language, so we communicate in English. So it's not that hard for us, and I'm really proud of our team. You should have seen them, 5 or 6 years ago, like not speaking in English at all. And since a few of us, that we know a little bit more of English and that we have lived abroad, and stuff like that, we arrived to the Acer. We started pushing them, and they like English, they like learning English, and they're really good at English. So it's getting better. It's nice.
Well, we can get the whole Dicer team on the Jira Life here. We can practice English all day long.
Yes, that would be really cool.
Just don't bring me to your podcast because
now, to be clear, there's only one person. If you got the entire Dicer team on here, there'd be only one person who can't speak Spanish. So that almost seems unfair.
Yeah.
Maybe you got some time to learn some Spanish.
I think that should just be a Spanish podcast, and I'll just
No, I'll push them into speaking in English. Don't worry
That's
about
the
that,
whole
Ronnie.
point, Ronnie, to help
Yeah,
them practice their English.
to practice. Exactly.
Because
So,
Adnan likes to bring me to his podcast so I can practice my Spanish. He just likes to watch me suffer.
No.
so funny thing is, Fede mentioned earlier that we met at Jira Day. When I was first asked to speak at Jira Day, my first initial response, because again, I got this early in my morning. I saw it when I first woke up. I had not all the neurons were firing, and I was still like, I need coffee. I read it. I'm like, you do know I don't speak Polish, right?
So how did you survive? I was meaning to ask you.
I don't speak of. I can't really speak other languages, and there's a whole
You just cuss me
medical
out in
history
German all the
behind
time.
that. But I'm usually pretty good at being able to read other languages and pick out the similarities and be able to navigate well enough. Like when I was on a release team and we were preparing for releases, I'd be the one to review the Spanish, Italian, and French stuff to look for the obvious errors because I can't speak Spanish. I understand very little of it spoken, but reading it, I'm like, I could usually figure out what's going on.
El Jefe is here.
Hello, Jefe.
We have the rubber duck.
Sean is Rodney's the Jefe.
Nice.
And Robert, for that matter, is Jefe. So we have El Jefe.
Nice.
All right, so we got last 10 minutes, and I did still want to take a second here. So Elastic made some interesting announcements, folks. That you probably got bombarded with 1,000 of emails, right? And one of the biggest things that came out today that I'm really, really excited for is coming soon, view subtasks directly in your backlog. Now, subtasks have been possible to do in Kanban boards, but not so much in the Scrum. And even then, they've kind of just been they've been an afterthought. And so I want to get you guys' feedback or your thoughts here, Fede and Ronnie, right? What are your thoughts about subtasks? Like, does your team use them? Do you encourage them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Because I think other than story points, subtasks is the next biggest controversial thing in the world of Jira.
Personally, I love subtasks just for being able to break down work into a checklist. Being able to say, okay, these are the things I have to get done to get this story completed. For me, though, subtasks themselves are not the biggest controversy. The biggest controversy I've seen is with or without the hyphen.
Oh, tell me about that. I've seen it. I've seen teams that have the sub with the hyphen task, sub big T task, sub little t task, sub space task, sub space little t task. I'm like, holy moly, how many subtasks can you have?
That's another language, that's crazy, man.
There's so many different ways to interpret the subtasks. But
Yes.
what about you, Fede? Do you guys use subtasks? Like, what are your thoughts on subtasks?
Yeah, well, I haven't used them at all in my life, but I know
Let me
that the
ask you-
team.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you an embarrassing question.
Yeah, go
Does
ahead.
Nizer use Jira for your software development?
I may not.
Are you gonna plead the fifth?
Yeah, I don't know if we use it. Yes, we use it heavily. We recently migrated, in order to be able to experience the migration. We recently migrated the whole product site, into
Why?
cloud, because we were thinking about it. We were thinking about it heavily. We used to use the data center. It was really fast. We had a lot of things going on right there. We had a lot of automations for our service management, and so. But then we decided to move to cloud, not only because it was gonna be good for us in the long run, but also to have the experience, because we're also providing a service, with Project Track. We have it's included in the Jira Cloud Migration Assistant, and it's like, what better use case would be, yeah, exactly. Around if we do it by ourselves, and we did it, and it was cool. And now, we've seen and we're are identifying a lot of improvements in Jira, but sometimes it's like sometimes we knock our heads on the wall for a really long time, and but
So one of the things that I'm most excited about, and I'm hoping it works out, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out yet, right? But this is probably the most annoying reason why I don't use the subtask, and you're seeing it in the screen right here. You have a story, NUC 339, with two subtasks, 343 and 344, right? But what drives me absolutely insane is the 4 story points for the NUC 339, but then the 2 and the 1. Those should equal the story should say 3.
Yeah, exactly, right.
And until that gets fixed, being able to see your subtask or not, I don't think it's going to do anybody a favor, because you're still not going to be able to utilize them in the reports effectively. You're not going to be able to do your planning effectively until these numbers add up, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. I know that the how you say, the design team also, Laura, for Discovery, she uses Subtasks, and the front end team uses Subtasks, and I don't know how they will feel about this, so let's hope.
Bob over here, there shouldn't be story points on a subtask. I love to tell my favorite thing to tell people, because they love to put story points on the subtask on the stories. And I'm like, guys, story points go on stories. That's why it's in the title. Because it's just like when they put it on the epics, when they put it on like everything else, I'm like, story points go on the stories. Like
now, an epic sum up of the story points under that epic, I think makes sense.
Why? Because why wouldn't a story sum up of the subtask make sense then, by that principle?
I mean, let's talk. If we're talking pure agile, if a story could be broken up into subtasks, that story's too big and should have been broken up anyways into smaller stories.
Okay, fine.
Pure agile, yes, but I don't think the way I use subtasks, they're not story points. They're not something that I use to actually break it down further. I just use it as a checkbox to make sure, did I do everything I was supposed to do on this story?
Correct. Basically, you can almost treat it like breaking up your acceptance criteria or something into a subtask each. So you're like, I hit this requirement, I hit this requirement, I hit this requirement. And I like to tell people that use your subtask like their story should explain what needs to be built, and your story should say what needs to be built, and your subtask should say how you're going to do it. But you don't estimate the how. The whole estimate is in the what.
Yes. That makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. So, better, we got a couple of minutes left. We obviously didn't get a chance to do the rest, folks, but Atlassian, definitely a lot of cool things. We'll give you a teaser. We'll say a summary view is coming to your advanced roadmap. I think I'm really excited about this one. You're going to be able to see a little bit more of a, metric-like information inside your advanced roadmap. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like. And then the other annoying thing that's been coming out that I wish, again, we talked about this last week, but Atlassian a little aggressive in my opinion. If you go to your gear, go to issues, go to custom fields, you will see that new is plastered next to your custom fields, and that is because Atlassian is touting this new team field that I think has always been there, but now they just want you to have it everywhere. So that if you haven't looked around, you will see that there's a team field now available for you, and Atlassian will bombard you with messaging all over the UI to remind you to enable the team field.
Nice.
But anyways, Revise has just jumped in. We missed the entire every week here, 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, we are live. So I'll give you the floor over to you, Fede. Last minute. Have you ever seen Hot Ones on YouTube?
And the hot ones with the hot wings and stuff like that.
This camera. The floor is yours. Tell people where to find you.
Where to find me? Okay, so you can find me at Twitter, at Fede Baronti, and in LinkedIn, Fede Baronti. Maybe down in the Dazer, if you write down Dazer, I'm one of those contacts, and I'd be happy to have you guys, in the Dazer connection,
Let me get my passport. We'll first
exactly. We'll be waiting for you, and really looking forward
to say corazón.
Corazón. That's the Spanish way, because we Latin guys we say but corazón. We say corazón. Yeah, exactly. That's the Spanish way that they pronounce the Z, the C. Yeah, exactly. And that's a really good way to say. So thank you very much for having me. I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys at Las Vegas, at Teams.
Yeah,
And
I'll probably see you in Vegas before this passport comes in.
yeah, well, that's okay. And we'll go to In and Out, and have a burger, and stuff
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
if you guys have any parties, let us know. We'll be there.
Yeah, go. Perfect. Thank you very much for having me here, and hope to and wish you the best in the quiz whiz thing, So
I'm just surrendering already. I'm white flagging it. The stress.
No, you've got to be in the final, man. I have got to face you in the final.
For what? I am like completely useless.
Exactly.
I've been thinking like I'm gonna get Sajid and I'm gonna do like the hardest Jira administrator quiz ever. And I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna make the ACPs like be shameful of how hard I'm gonna make this thing for Sajid. And we're gonna televise it, him and his Jira skill. But I don't know that I'll get him to agree to it. But if we can peer pressure him into doing the hardest Jira exam ever, I want to get my vengeance. All right, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I'm getting a little too aggressive here, but it's also because I'm getting hangry. So thank you for coming. Rodney, always a pleasure.
Yep.
Glad you're feeling better.
Yep.
And for everybody else, we'll give it to Rodney.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Jira Live. Thank you, Fede Baronti from Dazer. Hope I got that one right.
Yes. Perfect.
For coming on, talking to us today. My friend is Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz. He can be found at youtube.com/@8techtutorials, all one word. Myself, my name is Rodney. You can find me at thejiraguy.com. This week, I actually put out a post saying, why are there so many kinds of Jira, and explaining what all the differences are.
Beautiful post
for this podcast. Thank you. You can catch us as we record this podcast live every Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at youtube.com/@thejiralife. Be sure to join us in the other Jira Amigos in the peanut gallery to ask questions, add your comments, and tell us what you're up to. If you can't join us live, you can find this podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. If you think this podcast deserves a rating, it'd be much appreciated. Note, we do have merch coming for the Jira Life.
It's live.
Alex is holding up one right now, but we've got others coming up soon.
Looks amazing.
So be on the watch out for that. That is coming up. And as always, remember, we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us. Thanks for watching.